So here we are. We are once again at that time of year where everyone is getting the game for Christmas, a bunch of new people are getting their hands on the game, and a lot of people are going to be playing Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 that haven't prior before this point. Now, this video, I'm specifically going to be discussing Warzone 2, and I think the sad state that it is currently in. Otherwise, I think Modern Warfare 2 has done a pretty good job of keeping the game fresh and giving you reasons to play. I think DMZ has done a pretty good job of that. The raids are pretty interesting, and we're going to discuss all of that. However, Warzone 2 is really the thing that I personally have been a little bit disappointed for. It was the thing that I was most looking forward to come the new game, and I just don't think there's enough reason for people to continue playing it moving forward, and I think that's going to cause a big problem for it. And I think there are two individual reasons for that that need to be discussed and need to be addressed moving forward if this game is going to go forward in the next couple of years like Warzone 1 did. So that's what we're going to be discussing in this video, also comparing it to multiplayer and talking about new players getting their hands on the game. So I wanted to start this by going into multiplayer, because multiplayer is actually what I have been playing the most this year, and it's the most I've played multiplayer in a really long time in Call of Duty. And I think the main reason for that is they give you a reason to come back and play more. And the main thing for that is the weapon challenges. Getting up to gold, polyatomic, all of that stuff, getting Orion at the end of the day, gives you a lot of replayability, challenges to complete, things to do. And because of that, I have been returning more to the game, and I think a lot of people have been returning more to multiplayer than in previous years. On top of that, I think it's a pretty well put together game. There's definitely problems, the minimap, time to kill, things like that aren't quite what I like, but that replayability is definitely there. Even when we go ahead and look at DMZ, there is so many challenges in that to keep players coming back and playing more and more. Now, DMZ isn't my cup of tea. I think with a minor few tweaks, adding in some sort of marketplace, I would definitely play the game more. However, it's not my cup of tea, but I definitely see a lot of players going back, replaying, completing the challenges, things like that. And where we run into problems is when we look at Warzone 2 and the raid as well, and you'll see what I mean by that as we dive into it. When it comes to Warzone 2, I think it has two predominant problems that need to be discussed. The first of which is, in my opinion, Warzone 2 is actually a step back past Warzone 1. Throughout Warzone 1's life cycle, they had 3 years to perfect the game, add in updates, make quality of life changes, and just simply make the game better. Now, if you didn't know this, Raven was working on the game for the majority of those 3 years, adding in updates, making the game better, adding Rebirth Island, making all of those resurgence modes and things like that. Now we have Infinity Ward making Warzone 2, and because it's a different studio, a lot of those bugs that were fixed by Raven are back in the game, and the quality of life isn't there. Now, they have made improvements, they have made the game better since it came out. However, I still think it's a step behind Warzone 1, and feel free to disagree with me and let me know down in the comments. But because of that, all these players who have played Warzone for 3 years step into Warzone 2 and they feel like they're 2 years behind what they were previously playing. And of course, that is a very big issue. People don't want to play the last gen Call of Duty game. They want to play a new one, a better one. And that isn't what Warzone was when it came out this year. On top of that, ask yourself, if you are a constant Warzone 2 player, what is the reason to keep playing? Some people would say back in Warzone 1, the reason to keep playing was to get more wins, to have more wins than your friends, and you could see that within your combat record. Maybe make your kill death a little bit better, but as we know, the combat record in Warzone 2 is just not there. They said maybe it's coming with Season 2, but as of right now, there is no word for that. So, why would you keep on playing if there is no challenges to complete? The only reason to play more and more is to level up your character. Leveling up weapons doesn't work very well in Warzone 2, so what would be the point anyway? Now, I just wanted to interject here and point out something that I think Call of Duty as a whole needs to reevaluate, and that is player leveling. Player leveling was originally put into Call of Duty so that you level up, and as you do, you unlock more weapons, perks, things like that, and gave it almost an RPG element to a first-person shooter. Now, levels are just kind of levels, so after you unlock everything, what is the point of leveling up more? There isn't really one. Can you unlock calling cards? Yeah. Can you unlock a weapon blueprint here or there? Yeah, but does anyone actually care about that? Not really. It doesn't change your gameplay experience, and as of right now in Warzone, that's the only reason to play more is to level up your character, which gives you nothing. So we can dog on the game all we want, but what are the solutions to this? Well, first of all, the quality of life changes need to happen in Warzone 2, and they need to happen quickly. And I will say, they have done a pretty good job of getting on top of that and making the game better and better on that front. Stopping crashes, I still have a lot of them, but stopping crashes, things along those lines, it is getting better. Now, as far as keeping players and playing longer, this is where it's going to be difficult. First of all, they have to put in that combat record. You have to be able to see how many wins you got. You have to be able to see how you are compared to your friends and other players online. That just needs to be in the game. But I also think they need to implement a way of completing more challenges that are reasonable to do. If we once again look back at multiplayer, I think what they did so well with the weapon challenges is all of the challenges are very attainable, except for some of the mastery ones where you need thousands of kills. But to unlock the different camos, sometimes it's like get 15 double kills. Every time you get a double kill, it feels like you are accomplishing something and getting closer and closer to that. If you needed 500 double kills, one double kill isn't going to feel very rewarding. There needs to be something in Warzone that when you complete it, you get closer and closer to attainable rewards that are good, like camos. This is where the raid comes in, and the problem I think they have with the raid. Recently, we've talked a lot about the raid on the channel and played through it, talked about the story behind it, and I really enjoyed the raid. I think they did a very good job creating it. I like the puzzles behind it. I like the idea of it. The problem is, once you beat the raid once, what's the point of keep on playing it? A lot of people, yeah, will go for all of those aesthetic things like calling cards and things like that that you can get from completing the raid. But to me, once I completed the raid and I know where the story goes with it, why would I keep on playing? Now, if there was something along the lines of beat the veteran raid 3 times and you actually unlock a weapon or a cool camo or something that was actually rewarding, maybe I would come back, maybe I would play. If the raid changed weekly or bi-weekly and it was made more difficult, they added in a new puzzle, things along those lines, again, I might play it. If there was new cutscenes that were added in for completing it in different ways. But as of right now, you beat the raid once, that's kind of it. And that's kind of the same way I feel about Warzone. After you get 5, 10, 20 wins, what's the point of getting more? You're not obtaining anything from it. You just have the ability to say, hey, look, I got 20 kills in this game. Oh, but I can't even show you because it's not in a combat record. So, do I think Warzone 2 is a bad game? No, I actually really enjoy playing it. I like the gunplay. I like the way loadouts work. I like the changes that they've added in. I just need more of a reason to play it and play it more. And a lot of you have been asking, when am I going to put out a loadout video and things like that? Once I start playing it more and enjoying it more, that is when that will happen. And we're just not quite there. And I'm hoping after the Christmas players get on and they can kind of focus on what comes next for Warzone, I'm hoping we get something like that. Maybe a resurgence map will help with that. But for now, those are kind of my thoughts on Warzone 2. If you agree, disagree, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, it is always appreciated if you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on my videos. We got some more story content coming tomorrow. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out. We are